Hey, what's up guys? Josiah Novak with thetruetransformation.com, and today I'm walking you through a Fat Loss 101 fat loss course. Everything you need to know about fat loss. What are the basics? What are the things that are key to getting you from where you are now, feeling overweight, not where you want to be lean-wise, to lean, healthy, as much fat loss as you're aiming for. This is going to take you through the basics that are the keys to understanding fat loss. So without further ado, let's jump into Fat Loss 101. All right, guys, so the first thing to understand when it comes to fat loss, and this is something that I hit on time and time again, so you're gonna probably hear it over and over again as I go through the video, but every time we think about adding a workout or adding a nutrition strategy or a supplement or anything related to fat loss, we need to make sure that we're focusing on a key thing, and that key thing is adherence. Whether or not we can stick to this factor, this workout, this diet, this supplement, long enough to see the results that we want, and also with the opportunity that once we reach that result, that we have a game plan to transition into our next goal. Because what I see with so many people is they jump into a diet or a workout that sounds really good on paper. Like it sounds exciting, it sounds sexy, and you're like, oh, if I want to lose fat, this is definitely the diet for me. But we don't factor in life, work, family, day-to-day things. Life happens, right? We want to go out, we want to eat food at restaurants and drink and all this other stuff. And we don't think about, will these diets, will these supplements, will this workout fit into my lifestyle? And will I be able to adhere to it long enough to see the result that I want? So as we break this stuff down, I want you to ask yourself that. Can I stick to this? Does this make sense for me? And I'm going to break down the need to know things so that you can start putting these things into your life. Start weaving fitness into your lifestyle so that it does become something that you can adhere to long term. So that is the first question to ask. Can you stick to this for a long period of time, long enough to see the result that you want? All right, tip number 2. This is a mindset piece, and I'm going to talk about it very quickly. But initially, early on, there's going to be some struggle, right? Because you are changing some habits and routines. If you want to do something that you don't have, or you want to get something that you don't have, and you want to change your life, change the way you look, it is going to require some work. And it is going to require looking at your habits and routines and figuring out which ones need to stay, which ones need to be changed, and which ones just need to go, all right? But that is going to come with some mindset shift. It's going to come with you detaching from things that you've done for a very long period of time. Maybe in years past, you tried certain diets, and maybe they worked a little bit. Maybe you lost a few pounds. Maybe it was keto, maybe it was paleo, maybe it was carb cycling, whatever. And you think, oh, I'm just going to go back to that because that got me fast results. Wasn't able to stick with it, but this time's going to be different. But let me tell you something. More than likely, this time's not going to be different. We need to break this stuff down, and we need to make sure that we're detaching ourselves from things that either worked a little bit in the past, didn't work in the past, any preconceived notions, beliefs, anything that we're attached to that's preventing us from moving forward. So I want you to get in the mindset of open-mindedness, understand that you might learn something new, you might have to try some new things, and it might seem a little difficult at first, but once you get rolling and the momentum starts to build, you're going to be off to the races when it comes to your fat loss goals. All right, so let's start jumping into the bread and butter of fat loss. What are the things you need to know when it comes to nutrition? I'm going to keep this super simple, super basic for you so that you can go right out after you watch this video and you can start burning fat right away. The number one rule when it comes to fat loss is you need to be in a caloric deficit. And that simply means you need to burn more energy, more calories than you take in via food. There is no arguing that. It's been proven time and time again. Countless studies have shown that that is the number one factor. Now, it's not the only factor. So I want to make sure you're clear on that. Just because you're in a caloric deficit doesn't mean you're going to get ideal results. But ultimately, if you want to lose fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit. There's no way around it. So what do? Well, the best suggestion is we need to start tracking what we eat. And we need to start getting an idea of where do we stand? How much food am I putting in my body? It might sound tedious, but if you do it for a few days, it's going to blow your mind. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this many calories were in peanut butter, or I had no idea that I was eating this many carbs. It's going to give you clarity. And ultimately, clarity is going to give you the opportunity to start making changes where you need to make changes. Otherwise, you're just guessing. You're just hoping that if I eat clean, or if I start eating less, or if I don't eat carbs at night or whatever, that I'm going to start losing fat. And sure, those things might work temporarily, but it'd be better if you have ultimate clarity. You know exactly, or at least close to exactly, how many calories you're taking in. Therefore, what's happening to your body? Is your weight staying the same? Do you feel hungry all the time? Are you losing weight? Are you gaining weight on this amount of calories? and then you can start making adjustments. So the number one rule when it comes to fat loss is you need to be in a calorie deficit, burn more calories than you eat long enough to lose the fat that you want to look the way you want. Okay, so now that we have the calorie goal out of the way, let's talk about the next factor, and that is the quality and the type of food that you need to be eating. And once again, I'm here to make this simple. This is Fat Loss 101. This isn't crazy advanced stuff that doesn't really matter. It's to get you started, to get you off on the right path. If I could recommend one big thing, is try your best to avoid processed or highly processed food. Why is that? This is not because you can't eat processed food and lose fat. It's not because, as long as you hit your calories and all this other stuff. It's because that type of food does a lot of damage to your appetite. It can stimulate your appetite like crazy, right? If you're eating crackers and chips and cookies, those things are not going to satiate you, and they're not going to add health to your body. They're not going to give you nutrients that you need to survive, and ultimately, you're not going to feel that great if most of your diet is made up of processed crap. So do your best. I live by the 80-20 rule, but do your best to eat 80% of the time healthy whole foods, lean meats, vegetables, fruits, carbs that sit well with you, healthy fats. Those things are going to aid your energy and also keep you satiated. Along with that, we talk about macros, right? We talk about macronutrients, and all that is protein, carbs, and fats. All foods are made up of one or all three of those foods. But when it comes to fat loss, the main one that you need to be concerned with is your protein. Making sure you get enough protein to satiate you, prevent muscle loss, keep you healthy, because protein is an essential nutrient for survival. And if all you do is nail your protein goal, which in this case, I'm going to give you a recommendation of about 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. If you nail that and you nail your calorie goal and your carbs and fats, they go up or down depending on the day, I guarantee you're going to lose fat. No question about it. And you won't have to worry about tracking every single little nutrient, every gram of fiber, every gram of saturated fat. Keep it simple. Start with just tracking how many calories you eat, make sure you're eating quality foods 80% of the time, and getting enough protein. And you are off to the races. All right, so let's talk about your workout. So we got the basics out of the way with nutrition. Hopefully you're covered on that. If you aren't, leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you found this valuable so far. And now we're going to talk about your workout routine and lifting and cardio and all that great stuff. So people often think, I should start by doing just a bunch of cardio to get the fat off. And then once I'm lean, then I'll start lifting weights and building muscle. And let me tell you, that is the worst idea possible. Why is that? Well, because muscle tissue, everyone has some level of muscle. Muscle burns more calories on your body than anything else, right? It's metabolically active. So as you're both training muscle, which breaks it down, which means you have to repair muscle, and then you build muscle, that is burning a lot of calories. And it's also keeping your muscle intact, which is super important for your metabolism. Because the last thing you want to do is lose a bunch of muscle, your metabolism slows down. What does that mean? Well, it means you have to eat less to lose fat. And it's already hard enough to stick to a fat loss diet. You don't want to make it harder on yourself. So at the bare minimum, I suggest everyone on planet Earth do some kind of resistance training 2 to 3 days a week. 2 is the bare minimum. 3 is great. Any more than that is extra credit, in my opinion. 4 days to 5 days to even 6 days a week is for those people who just love to work out and have the time to do it, okay? Now, resistance training, like I said, it does a lot, but primarily when it comes to fat loss, it's going to do 2 main things. One, it's going to help you look better, right? Because as you lose fat, you'll have muscle tissue below the fat, which looks awesome. And number 2, it's going to keep your metabolism healthy, all right? It's going to make your fat loss journey so much easier. So resistance training 2 to 3 days a week, that could be just body weight. It could be exercise bands. It could be a combination of exercise bands and light dumbbells. It could be in a full-blown gym doing a hardcore lifting routine. Doesn't matter. As long as you're getting it done and you're progressing over time, lifting using resistance 2 to 3 days a week is crucial. All right, we've got lifting out of the way. That's the basics. We're not going to get into the details around how to set up a lifting routine. We'll save that for another video. Let's talk about cardio. Cardio is always one of the first questions that comes up when we're thinking about fat loss. How do we implement cardio? Should we do high intensity cardio? Should we do low intensity cardio? I'm going to give you a simple way to think about cardio. Why is cardio prescribed by most coaches, most fitness authorities when it comes to fat loss? I'm going to tell you the secret why. Because most people don't move a whole lot during the day. They sit around at their desk, they sit in their car, they sit in front of the TV. They're sedentary. In a sedentary lifestyle, Not only is it not the healthiest lifestyle, but it doesn't burn a lot of calories, which means you have to eat less to lose fat. Well, what's a simple way to fix that? Tell people to do more cardio. Get up, go for a walk, go for a jog, do high intensity interval training, make it fun, whatever. Ultimately, the goal though with cardio is by all means taking care of your cardiovascular health, your heart and your lungs and all that, but also burning more calories. So one simple thing you can start to do if you don't want to jump on the treadmill, if you don't want to take out the bike, or if you don't want to go jogging or whatever, you can just start tracking your steps. Now, you don't need to go buy a watch like I'm wearing to track your steps. You can literally pick up your iPhone or your Android, whatever you use, smartphone wise, and there are apps for free that track your steps as long as you're carrying your phone around. And once again, we're not trying for perfection here with accuracy. We're just getting a clear picture, clarity on how much activity am I doing during the day, whether or not I need to do more. If I'm super low on steps, like if you're under 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day, I would highly suggest incrementally increasing that by 500 to 1,000 until you feel like, okay, I'm moving a lot more, burning more calories, and it's going to make your fat loss journey so much easier. So if that does require you scheduling time to be on the treadmill or scheduling time to be on the step mill or whatever to get those steps in, that is fine. But what I'll tell you is that even if you do 30 minutes of cardio and you sit around the rest of the day, you might be shocked to find that you're still not doing that much. So keep in mind, it's about the big picture, 24 hours in a day. Most of that's working and sleep, I understand that, but find time to sneak in 5 to 10 minute walks. Walking, parking further away from the grocery store, walking around your office. Those things are going to aid you tremendously when it comes to fat loss. So that is my recommendation for cardio. Okay, so we're getting close to the end here. Fat Loss 101 course is just about done. I hope this has helped a lot. If it has, please leave me a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to be putting out courses on more advanced concepts and also one-on-one concepts on other things like lifting, supplementation, and that. But I do want to talk about supplements when it comes to fat loss. There are no magical fat burners out there that you just take and it takes care of itself, right? You're not going to just pop a pill, wake up tomorrow and have abs. However, there are a couple things that you might want to keep in mind that might make things easier for you as you go along. One of which is a high quality protein powder. Protein is, like I said, an essential nutrient. It sometimes can be difficult to get all of your protein from natural food sources. So picking up a high quality protein powder can work really well. Now, do you need to do this? Absolutely not. But it's just about convenience. A quick scoop of protein in a shaker cup that can help you hit your protein goal for the day is worth its weight in gold, right? Versus you being short and saying, oh, I wish I had a solution. Well, now you do. Protein powder is a great one. The other thing that I recommend is creatine. Now, I'm not a doctor, so make sure you check with your doctor before you take any supplement. But creatine has been proven time and time again to be one of the most effective and very cheap supplements when it comes to building muscle and keeping muscle and also giving you energy in the gym. I'm not going to go into too much depth around creatine right now. We'll say that for a future supplement video. But it's important to take a look at it, and it might be worthwhile for you when it comes to improving your rate of fat loss. Other than that, I don't really recommend any supplementation. I will mention, though, that caffeine can be a great source of energy if you're someone who's just having a hard time getting started. Maybe you're having to get up earlier to get your workout in, you're tired, you're not used to that time yet. Supplementing with caffeine can work great. And once again, caffeine is not an expensive supplement. It's something you can pick up for very cheap, and it can be highly effective as you're getting started. All right, guys, last but not least, and we're going to wrap up the video with another mindset piece that fits into the 101 sector, and that is time and patience. You have to understand that however long it took you to get out of shape, it would be worth your mental energy to commit to sticking to that same amount of time when it comes to trying to get into shape or back into shape. If you have been out of the gym for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, why not just assume that it's going to take that same amount of time to get back to feeling great and looking good? Now, let me tell you a secret. It's not going to take that long. You're going to start and you're going to get the ball rolling, you're going to get the momentum building, and ultimately 3 or 4 months from now, you're going to feel amazing. But if you're only worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, am I going to wake up leaner, am I going to look good tomorrow? Put that out of your mind and start picturing the long term. Patience, all right? This stuff takes time. There's nothing you can really do that's going to speed this process up significantly. And I know it doesn't sound sexy, and it's hard for me to sell you a program or a product if I'm not giving you that sexy, quick result. But what I will tell you is I'm trying to give you a sustainable result. I would love to hear from you 10 years from now where you're like, yeah, man, I took your advice, I committed to 2 years, And 3 months into it, I felt and looked so much better, and I never stopped, and I never looked back because it's so sustainable now. That is what I'm after. Selling you on a 30-day quick fix is only going to do two things. One, it's going to piss you off because it's not going to work. And two, it's going to make me look way less credible, and I'm not here to do that. So if you take nothing away from this video, understand that fat loss takes time, patience, and consistent effort. You do those things, and I guarantee you will see amazing results. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. That was Fat Loss 101. If you want to get more information on fat loss, building muscle, and just improving your fitness and sustainable transformation, go to thetruetransformation.com. We have more resources. You can subscribe to the channel. We put out multiple videos every week geared towards a sustainable transformation. And as always, let me know in the comments what you thought of the video. If you liked it, hit the little bell to get notified every time I release a video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I will talk to you in the next video. Peace.